What's up, everyone? Today we're looking at Raku the Rascal, or Raku the Racoon, or whatever else you want to call him. But he's a raccoon that shoots acorns and nuts with a little slingshot thing, and he's a wilder hero, and that's what he does. So, Raku, as I mentioned, is a wilder hero. He's agility based, he is a ranger, and then his role is burst damage, which just means he does a lot of damage in burst. So, let's go ahead and take a look at him. Ultimate skill, Raku shoots at the enemy with the lowest health percentage, dealing damage equal to 300% of his attack rating. This shot also deals additional damage equal to 55% of the target's lost health, up to 700% of his attack rating, and stuns the target for 4 seconds. Raku is immune to control effects while the skill is active. That's really nice. If the target is killed, the skill is cast again. Also really nice, kind of gives you a kind of snowball-y hit. And then the additional damage just kind of goes up a little bit here, 60 and 65%. Peckish, Raku eats a snack, becoming immune to control effects for 6 seconds. During this period, his attack rating is increased by 20% and haste is increased by 30%. And then you can see at level 2, 30% and haste is increased by 40%, attack to 40%, then 50%. And then the Peckish skill upgrade, this is through the divine effect. Skill effects durations increased to 8 seconds. So this just kind of gives him, attack buff, obviously, haste, which is nice, but also that crowd control, or the immune to control effects, rather, is really nice too. Where between that and his ultimate, it's kind of hard to pin down. Okay. Entangling shot, Raku deals damage equal to 200% of his attack rating to the enemy with the highest attack rating and imprisons them for 4 seconds. And then you can see the damage just goes up. In his passive, Raku's Mark, whenever an enemy target is under a control effect, Raku will also target them with his normal attack for the next 4 seconds. Passive, damage dealt to any enemies affected by control effects is increased by 25%. And then that goes to 30% and then 35%. So, kind of summarize his kit. You have a few things going for you. You do more damage to people who are stunned, controlled, whatever. You also have immunity to crowd control effects for a lot of your kit. You also do continual damage with your autos, so you're just kind of pumping them out and prioritizing low health units and those under crowd control effects. And then you are just basically doing that over and over again, and it just kind of reprocs different things. And if your ultimate goes off and kills someone, it does it again. And so, like I mentioned before, kind of a snowball-y effect. Now, the thing that is weird about him being released in Companions is if you look at all these stats, so mostly these green percentages and numbers, the Companions version is worse in almost every single one of these compared to Classic. So he has faced a pretty big nerf, which makes me wonder in what playtesting was. He must have been like absolutely busted. Kind of similar to Lucretia. Lucretia had some nerfs compared to her classic version as well. And now we're seeing Raku kind of having these nerfs, which is just super weird to me that like a lot of units came into the game with some buffs. Now, for granted, those units that had buffs were often bad units that just weren't used anymore. Raku is still used to this day, but still it just seems kind of weird and just interesting to me. So I'm not totally sold on him. I think he'll be good, obviously. I think he still has a good kit, and I think he'll still do some good damage. I'm just kind of curious why he was nerfed in those areas. Even if you look at his signature item, this is all the same, except for some of the plus 30 stats. Those are a little different. They're nerfed in Companions as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at that. So in Raku's normal attacks deal damage, they reduce enemies' haste by 15 points for 6 seconds, and they can stack 3 times, and it resets the cooldown every successful attack. At plus 10, when Raku's normal attacks deal damage, they reduce enemies' haste by 20 for 6 seconds. And then at level 20, 25 haste, it's kind of the same thing. And then at level 30, normal attacks deal additional damage equal to 12% of the target's current health, up to 60% of Raku's attack rating. And then divine effects at level 1, it unlocks this right here. And then at 3 stars, it decreases the cooldown time of Peckish whenever a normal attack strikes an enemy. decreases by 1 second. And then when Raku uses his ultimate skill, if it doesn't kill the enemy, it can cast again. It can be only used once each time Raku's ultimate skill is used. So basically, you can't just infinitely do it if you aren't killing anyone. But that is kind of the summary of what he does. You know, his big thing is his ultimate, pumping out that damage, kind of scaling by killing units, and then going to the next low health unit or someone who's under crowd control effects and killing them. And then hopefully you just beat the other team. Now, what areas do I think Raku would be good in? Historically, he's really good at campaign. He's good at faction towers with wilders. I would see him being pretty solid in Unforked Fate as well. And, you know, Arena, not really going to shine there. Guild Boss, probably not too crazy there either. Maybe some Dream Realms, but I also don't think he's going to be doing anything crazy there. But he's really kind of those big main campaign tower pushes. So he's someone that I think would fit well with the Wilders right now. Obviously, there's Trisha, who is kind of the big damage Wilder right now, as well as Awakened Solace. So having him in there might be a little bit of an overkill, but if you want to build him out, he's definitely not a bad option. So let's go ahead and look at the Arena of Trials, just see what his stuff looks like in action. Clearly, I have not done this yet. Okay, so let's go to ×2. Let's do just normal. Look how slow that is. That's crazy. You see he's shooting some acorns. He CC'd this guy earlier. He's doing his ultimate, putting his thing down, blasting some dudes with this slingshot. He's just one-shotting them pretty much, which is kind of funny. He's over, so he's going to just start going back to shooting normal. See, he tangles him there. They have the little raccoon thing above him too. His haste got increased. You saw it pop up. And then so on and so forth. So that's just kind of what he does. He just kind of cycles through these things and hopefully just kills the other team quicker than they kill you. Nothing too crazy, but that is Raku, guys. Curious what you guys think about him. If it's a little disappointing, if you're excited about him, you can get him in the Destiny summons. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Curious what your guys' thoughts are as always. And hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.